Okay, so I'm coming back with, we'll call it Tales from the Gym or Kai Moi Rung Rao. Sorry about the wine. And I'm going to open it up with a return of this thing I like to do, talking about things that happen to me at the gym. I haven't done them in a while, as far as in this type of medium. A few years, probably. Anyhow, I think the last time I did a Tales from the Gym that I put on YouTube and Facebook was when I was training at FA Group, which was when I first moved to this city of Bangkok, Krungtet Mahanakhon. And now I've been training, working out, whatever you want to say, at Kiat Songri for a little over 2 years. But I'm not in the fight camp like I was at FA. I do personal one-on-one privates after I finish work, which is when fight camp is over. But I still get fighter training quality. I have good camaraderie with the fighters there. I gained a lot of respect just from my work ethic and things like that. Anyhow, let me get to the reason why I wanted to go ahead and do this again, because I have a great tale from the gym. And let me first start off with a lot of real martial artists, real combat sports people. Will tell you how much normal civilians have no idea of what they would be getting into if they approached someone with skills. Or one of my favorite sayings is Roger Mayweather, Floyd Mayweather's uncle, I believe. Yeah, uncle. Most people don't know shit about boxing. And that goes across the board for all the major combat sports. And it lessens the more you get away from boxing. Right? Because boxing just involves this. And I have a lot of, I shouldn't say just this, because it involves your feet a lot too. Your feet, how they move, is probably more important than this. But this is your tools for the hurting and hurt business. And then in Muay Thai, of course, and I'm skipping over kickboxing, like the K1 European style, which I used to like a lot. But since I've been living here and training here, just do Muay Thai. Quit being afraid of this and this, and just do Muay Thai, because that's you take this away, you take that away, and it's what they parade as kickboxing. Whatever. And then MMA is everything plus taking someone down to the ground. So even the degrees of people that know their shit about it. And then within MMA, there's categories of knowing your shit, right? Like how you mix your shit together. You know, your stand up to your ground and all areas in between. So anyhow, as I said, I've built up rapport with the trainers and fighters at Kiat Songri, even though I'm not actually training in the fight camp morning and afternoon like I used to do when I wasn't working here. When I came vacation, blah, blah, blah. I want to get to my story without talking too much about myself. Outside of the training. Anyhow, so one of the guys at Kiat Songri, he's one of the main guys there. He's a current big stadium champion. I don't want to give away names necessarily, but he's a big stadium champion right now. And I believe he has a couple of other promotional titles as well. But like one of the historic stadiums here in this city, he has their world title right now, or the stadium title, which is considered a world title for these particular Bangkok stadiums. If you get the title of that stadium, there's 3 of them I would categorize. Then you would be considered a world champion, in my opinion, of Muay Thai specifically. He's also done a Fight for One FC, which he gained a victory. Anyhow, he's expressed before interest in maybe trying to cross over to MMA. And I gotta tell you, on the down low key, I would relish the opportunity of trying to get a native nakmuay prepared for what's different in MMA compared to Muay Thai. So anyhow, that being said, the last time I went to the camp to train, you know, if he's my trainer, this guy I'm talking about, our last round training, he'll drop the pads and mitts and belly pad and all that, and we'll spar. And it depends on the day on what we'll spar. We'll either spar just boxing hands, and again, feet are important. You don't use them as tools, but they are important for making these tools effective. Or clinching, straight clinch sparring, which is, you know, light knees, punches to the body, things like that. Or Muay Thai sparring, we'll throw on the shin pads, and, you know, go pretty light, bow. And the last time we clinched, and towards the end, he snuck in for a waist cinch, waist lock. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a second, Muay Thai clinching, I don't think you can do that. And I looked at him, I was like, huh? We doing that? Okay. So, you know, I right after I immediately broke his waist cinch with a 2-on-1 wrist. You know, very easily. I went in on him on the waist cinch, and I hoisted him up, which got quite a laugh out of everyone there, including him. And I put him back down, you know, gently. And that was that, I thought. And then last night, he's training me again. He doesn't always train me, but sometimes he does, right? Like I've been there 2 years, over 2 years. So I've gotten to know pretty much everybody that is capable of holding mitts and pads, and thankfully I understand enough Thai that they don't need to speak English for me to work with them. Okay, so yesterday, our last round is boxing. And of course in boxing, he tools me. The guy is a stadium champion here, and even though it's Muay Thai, he definitely knows how to move these two. He knows how to move his feet to make these two very effective at a super high elite level. You know, not a WBC IBF world boxing champion level. But if he decided to cross over to boxing, if they groomed him right and promoted him right, he would slip in the top 10 pretty easily, I think. Just because of what I see him do here in town. I've watched the guy fight many times, and his boxing is quite slick for a nakmuay. Anyhow, but I don't get totally clowned. I don't look like a total slouch like most people that he invites to spar that aren't pros. You know, I'll make connections, right? Not as much as him, but I will make genuine connections. Anyhow, so the levels is here, okay? And that's what people don't understand, going back to my previous point, is if I took somebody off the street that's only trained one time, we'll say one time, right? They've done one good hour-long session of focusing just on their hands and how to get their stance right, how to lift their toes for their punches, how to move their feet to get out of range of punches, all those types, how to slip, how to weave, all that shit, right? Let's say they learned the basic fundamental of that. Like they know for this they do it, but they haven't had the time to really do it. If you go into the ring your first time to spar somebody of that caliber, you're not landing a punch unless they purposefully let you land a punch. And you are going to be at their mercy. So hopefully you have a nice guy that doesn't dislike you and they won't knock you to F out, because that's totally within their capability and power at any time to do that. And there's plenty of other YouTube videos where people come in and challenge a trainer or a boxer. They do get knocked out because that's not friendly. That wasn't an invitation by them. That's you trying to call them out. And it never goes good. Anyhow, so when you reverse that, so to speak, this really good striker, we use MMA terms, wants to do a little bit of MMA with, after we got done boxing, he throws his gloves down and he kind of puffs his chest, because we joke around like that. We face off before every training session, right? We'll do the stare down type shit, you know, just for shits and giggles. Anyhow, so he throws his gloves down and he gets my face and he hints at me that he wants to, you know, go freestyling, MMA style. I'm like, all right. So I immediately shoot in on a single, cross up to a double, hoist them up to my shoulders again like I did with the waist cinch, but now I've got real good leg control as well. So I get him up and I put him down gently in the side control. And while I got him up, he's trying to guillotine me because, you know, he's seen it on TV. I put him down in the side control really nicely, and I nicely slide my knee on the belly. I mean, I could have put so much weight pressure on him that I guarantee you he would have tapped just from that. But I was being nice. And I wanted to get an arm triangle because I love triangles of all kinds and shapes. So I slowly worked my way over to arm triangle position. I didn't even get the crossover from mount before he tapped. And then he wanted to go again. So this time I'm like, okay, I for poops and giggles, I'll pull guard. I pulled guard and I immediately started trying to work a spider style triangle on him. Mostly because I wanted to keep that wrist control, because he was, you know, fake punching me. I don't even want him landing fake punches. And I got the spider control on his wrist, and I worked to the triangle, and he postures up instinctually. Good instincts by him, by the way, but not enough because I switched to omoplata and I get him back down. And then he's, you know, muscling me, and there's even you can't really see it, I don't think, but I got the patented fingerprint bruises that every submission grappler knows about, whether you do gi or no gi or whatever, jiu-jitsu, catch, whatever the F you want to call it, submission grappling. You know about, dang it, I can't get the camera. Oh, there it is. You know about those little fingerprint bruises. It's been a while since I had one. Close to 6 years. And I'll get back to that once I finish breaking down what I did to him. So then after I went into that omoplata, he was fidgeting around, and I want triangle. Like I said, I like triangle all shapes. So I pull him back into me, heavy guard, abandon omoplata, and then work back to the triangle. He tries to do that same posture up. I'm ready for it. I forgot. Hip bump him. Hip bump him in the mounted triangle, and then I start doing the fake punches on him. Put a little bit of squeeze. He taps again. And he's like, "What was that?" One more time. Because I kind of burned my legs out going for that guard traditional triangle so hard, even before I got in mount triangle. It's been a while since I moved my legs in such a way. Anyhow, so like, all right, third time. And this time I just duck in low on a waist cinch and trip him over in the side again. And I decide, I want to catch a breather. So I want to give him a little bit of taste of shoulder pressure before I slip in the mount. And I give him a little taste of shoulder pressure. And he's like, ah! And I slip in the mount. And then I do some fake punching and elbows on him. And he tries to buck out. And one of the kids at the camp is in the ring with us, like trying to be a fake referee. and the other fighters are watching from down on the mats. And I tell him that right now, if I liked arm bars, this arm bar would be mine 100%. But I don't like arm bars. And just to flex my Thai speaking abilities, I said to him, Ta, Pom Chop Amba, me, 100%. Tewa, Pom, My Chop Amba. Right? I explained to him that I don't like arm bars, mostly because I'm not that great at them. I know about them. I'm halfway decent at defending them, you know. But because my success rate with arm bars back in the States was never that great, and I always ended up in bad position afterwards, I just kind of gave up the idea of perfecting arm bars. I prefer having position I like more, and as I got older and progressed, I prefer top position. I don't like playing guard anymore. As a white belt, you have no choice. As a blue belt, I was like, oh, God, I'm kind of flexible. I can do all this. Look at all this fancy stuff that I can do, even as an older guy. And then as a purple belt, I felt like, oh shit, man, no. Why are you torturing your body for no reason? Punishing your body for no reason, right? It's good to have those tricks in the back of your closet, but you shouldn't be the first part of your game when you're an older guy. And it shouldn't be the first part of your game if you're an MMA guy. So anyhow, after playing around with him in that mount, I finally just went ahead and key locked him because I got tired of it. So anyhow, how long did all that take? Less than 2 minutes to tap him 3 times. Could have been less than 1 minute if I was aggressive and not nice. But that goes back to my point. This guy who knows a lot about boxing and is one of the very, very, very best at Muay Thai on the whole fucking planet. At his weight class, he is arguably the best at Muay Thai. But he's never grappled before. So he might as well have been anybody off the street out there that's never grappled before. Or, not to be mean, any non-physically gifted white belt. And by physically gifted, I mean somebody maybe has experience in judo or Greco freestyle wrestling. They're kind of exceptions because that's kind of the same. So I guess, yeah, because they're grapplers too. What the fuck am I talking about? Kind of defeat my whole purpose. Anyhow, I'm going to close it off with I was able to do that. Submit this guy 3 times that quickly. And I haven't. The last time I rolled, or, sparred jiu-jitsu, submission grappling in a meaningful way was about a little over a year and a half ago when I last visited the United States. And I visited one of the academies that was the branch off from the academy I last trained at. It went like 2 or 3 separate ways, this place. And I feel like the place that I went to visit most encompasses this ideal of zero ego. Anyway, but they're now an all no-gi place. So I didn't get smoked necessarily by anybody. I did all right, including with the higher ranks. I held my own. Like I hold my own boxing with guys here, or doing Muay Thai with guys here, clinching with guys here. I hold my own. I don't get embarrassed like most visitors, foreigners do here. And like back in the States, like most white belts and UBs get, right? So I feel like I have enough of accumulated crossbreeding of knowledge on things people do from various various ranges of combat that, as I've told people before, if they gave out PhDs for that type of shit, I'd have one hanging on my wall. But they don't necessarily. I feel like I deserve a PhD in applied human physics. But yeah, and before that year and a half, I hadn't trained any submission grappling technique for over 5 years. And at that time, when I had stopped and focused strictly on training my Muay Thai, like that became my primary obsessive focus, because I've only got so much time left athletically where I feel like I can still get it out and maybe, who knows, maybe get a little fight in before I gray up. 6 years. So I was a 4-stripe purple belt when I stopped. About to get my brown. Probably if I kept at it, I would have had my brown belt within 6 months, maybe. If I was training on a regular basis, I think I would have got it within 6 months. But maybe I'm being delusional, maybe not. I wasn't the person assessing me to get that promotion, so they would be the ones that tell you. But anyhow, as a 4-stripe purple, when I stopped training regular, I still remember enough to where I can do something like tap out a high-level combat sports athlete, but not a grappler, that quickly, efficiently, and in 3 different ways, might I add. Mounted triangle. Oh, wait a second. That wasn't. Arm triangle. I didn't even really get to finish because I didn't cross out a mount. I had everything. I had the head under the arm. I had the grip. But, the finish to get to the side, I didn't even get there before he tapped out. Because he was that freaked out. Already losing a little bit of air and not knowing how to get me off of it. So arm triangle, mounted triangle, key lock. And key lock is not really my thing too much, but if I've got a long, prolonged mount, which again, I probably had that mount for 30, 45 seconds before I got bored with it. Again, going back to the whole point with 2 minutes, it could have been way less. So from the moment I got mount, I could have got that key lock then and there. But I played around with it for about 30, 45 seconds, letting him move around, trying to escape. And tell my little story to the kid ref. And put on a show for everybody that's watching. A little bit, I guess. Sometimes put on a little bit of shit. A little bit. Because after I was done, I definitely could feel a different aura around me as far as how the other people were looking at me. Not that I felt like I was God or blah, 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 but I felt like other people was like looking at me. It's like, wow, we didn't know you were that strong. Especially after the initial part of it when I'll be honest, I didn't know I was that strong. But yeah, I pretty much had him in a pro wrestling body slam position almost. Right? But yeah, put him down gently. Anyhow, there we go. Tales from the gym. Kai moi ruang, I believe. Stories is a new word for me in Thai. All right. See you. I think I'll be doing this regular.